Ever feel like that whole fairy tale thing about royalty is maybe a little much?
Yeah, kind of makes you want to roll your eyes sometimes, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
So today we are diving into some pretty eye-opening stuff about European monarchies.
We're ditching the rose-colored glasses for this one, folks.
Absolutely. Going for the unvarnished truth and to really get into it.
We've got some juicy bits for you.
We're taking a close look at this.
A particularly sharp-tongued
Oh, yeah.
Danish newsletter.
They do not hold back.
No, they do not.
It pulls no punches.
It really digs into the Danish royals and all the stuff that we just kind of accept about monarchies without really questioning.
Yeah, it's fascinating how easily we buy into these narratives, right?
We really do.
Without really thinking them through.
For sure.
Like this whole thing about Prince Christian. I mean,
This had me laughing.
I know.
It's like, did anybody tell his classmates he's technically running the country right?
I know. I was going to say, can you imagine being 18 years old still in school? And you're like, yeah, by the way, I'm also
Right.
regent of Denmark.
Right. While dad's out of town.
See ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
It's wild. Like this 18-year-old kid who's probably worried about...
His history exams?
Yeah, exactly. Is technically next in line.
And it's not even just a figurehead thing.
Oh, no, no, no.
This newsletter was saying he could fire the government, sign laws, the whole shebang.
It really makes you question that whole image of modern monarchies being oh, it's just ceremonial.
Right.
Come on now.
They're just there to look pretty.
Yeah, right.
Clearly not the case.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
The newsletter really sinks its teeth into this whole idea that monarchies are good for tourism.
Oh, they went hard on that.
They're come on.
They even called out Visit Denmark straight up.
Visit Denmark got served.
They were where is the data?
Show me the receipts.
Right. Prove it. Because they're people visit Denmark for the beautiful coastline, not to spot a kronebill.
Kronebill!
Which, for anyone who doesn't speak Danish, is a royal car.
In case you were wondering.
They even compared the attention Prince Frederik gets to Cristiano Ronaldo in Madrid.
Which I thought was a brilliant comparison.
Right.
Who's really drawing the bigger crowds there?
Okay, but they didn't just stop at Denmark.
Oh, no.
They were talking about the UK, too.
The UK as well.
Which you figure they're the OGs of the whole monarchy tourism thing. Right? You'd think they'd have it figured out.
Exactly. But even they couldn't find a direct link.
Yeah, apparently Visit Britain was
we got nothing.
crickets.
So if Buckingham Palace isn't bringing in the big bucks just for being full of royals,
right?
What does that say about everybody else?
It really makes you wonder what purpose these monarchies actually serve in the 21st century.
Right. Are they more symbolic than anything else?
It's a good question.
It is a good question. And speaking of uncomfortable truths, this newsletter does not let the Danish monarchy off the hook for its colonial past, especially when it comes to Greenland.
Oh.
But we are going to dive into all of that right after the break. We are back.
And ready to stir the pot a little more.
Oh, yeah. Things are about to get...
A little awkward. A little awkward, especially when we're talking about the Danish monarchy and their whole deal with Greenland.
Yeah, you've got this growing independence movement in Greenland.
Right.
They've even got this proposed constitution that would actually totally cut the Danish monarch as head of state.
Wow.
But then you've got the Danish government over here hold on.
Not so fast.
Exactly, clinging on for dear life.
Well, and it's interesting because this newsletter pointed out how Denmark loves to trot out Greenland on the world stage.
Oh, totally.
Especially now that the Arctic is becoming this big, important strategic thing.
Right. Look at us. We have an Arctic territory.
Exactly.
We're still relevant.
Yeah, exactly. It's this weird flex.
It's they're clinging to that last little bit of their colonial past.
Totally.
Which,
not a good look. Yeah.
Not a good look. And, the newsletter makes this point that the monarchy, instead of helping things smooth things over, it might actually be making things worse.
Real.
They called it a symbol of colonial oppression.
Oh.
So all those little attempts at, cultural diplomacy.
What?
Remember that picture of Mary in the Spraggle Day Comiker?
The what?
The Spraggle Day Comiker.
Okay, you're going to have to translate for us non-Danish speakers.
Right, of course, the colorful Greenlandic boots.
Okay.
The super fancy one.
Okay.
Or Frederick, speaking into a whale microphone.
Oh, my God.
They pointed to all of these things as examples.
Oh, wow.
It's all just a little
tone deaf.
A little tone deaf, maybe.
Yeah.
Putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound kind of thing.
Oh.
Not quite the solution.
Speaking of not quite the solution, this whole thing with Prince Frederik and the IOC.
Oh, boy.
Which they call...
Oh, yeah. The newsletter did not hold back. They straight up called it a for brighter syndicate.
Oh, what?
For brighter syndicate.
Again?
It means a syndicate of criminals.
Oh my God, they did not.
They did.
Wow, and they did not let him forget about that whole vote about the Russian athletes either.
Oh, no, no, no. That's not going away anytime soon.
So wait, so he was totally fine being a part of this syndicate of criminals.
Allegedly.
But then, like, as soon as he's about to be king, it's all, I'm just gonna back away slowly.
It's a good look, isn't it?
It's like trying to delete your browser history right before a job interview.
Exactly, and hoping nobody checks.
Nothing to see here, just your squeaky clean new king.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But the internet remembers.
The internet never forgets.
It never forgets. So if monarchies aren't bringing in the tourists,
Right.
and this whole diplomacy thing is like a big question mark,
Mm-hmm.
what are we doing here? What is the point of monarchies in the 21st century?
That is the million krona question.
It really is.
And you know what's interesting is this newsletter focuses on the Danish monarchy.
Right.
But it really feels like you could swap in almost any other monarchy.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of these criticisms would still apply.
So, after diving into all this,
Juicy royal gossip.
I know, right?
The tea is hot.
I'm starting to think monarchies need to come with like a warning label.
Like may trigger existential crisis.
Exactly.
Side effects may include questioning everything you thought you knew about history and culture.
Yes. And a healthy dose of cynicism.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this newsletter does not mess around.
They really don't.
At one point, they just straight up say it.
Lay it on us.
The whole concept of a monarchy is ladder-like.
Ladder-light.
What?
For those of you who don't speak Danish, means ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Say it up.
Like, it's 2024. Why are we still doing this whole, like, you're only in charge because your parents were thing?
It's a fair question.
It really isn't. It's not just Denmark.
Oh, no, this is like a systemic issue.
Right. Like, this newsletter is digging into the Danish royals, but
It's bigger than that.
so much bigger.
It's about all these systems that are built on this idea of inherited power.
And they're all, like, riddled with these contradictions and scandals.
And don't forget the hypocrisy.
Oh, yeah.
Like trying to maintain this image of tradition and respectability.
When really it's just...
Smoke and mirrors.
Exactly. Like that scene in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, my God, yes.
When they pull back the curtain.
And it's just some guy.
It's just some guy.
Like, you're a monarch. You're a very short man with a megaphone.
Exactly. Illusion shattered.
Poof.
Gone.
And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Exactly.
This newsletter doesn't come right out and say, down with monarchies.
Right.
But they might as well have...
Pretty much.
They lay out all the arguments.
All the seats.
All the receipts so clearly.
It's hard to argue with them.
It really is.
So to everyone listening, I'm going to leave you with this.
Kid us with it.
If monarchies aren't the big tourism draw that we thought they were,
Right.
and if their whole diplomacy thing is kind of sus,
Very sus.
and if it's all based on this, like, outdated system,
Yeah.
what's the point?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Seriously.
Like, are they just these relics of the past, desperately trying to stay relevant?
Clinging on for dear life.
Or is there something more?
Some deeper significance that maybe we're missing.
I don't know.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. I guess we'll have to keep exploring.
The quest continues.
It does. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never be afraid to peek behind the curtain.
And for goodness sake, if you find a chronal, take a picture.
Please do.
We need the content.
We'll see you next time.